In the 1990s, Sony was the king of the hill in terms of consumer electronics. Their Sony Triniton TV was the best TV you could get. And the Sony Walkman was what everyone used to listen to music as they went about their world. To create those two things, Sony had created two different divisions in their company. One was consumer electronics and the other one was about music. They could see that the digital revolution was coming. And so both divisions started thinking about how do we achieve the next level of innovation in digital electronics. It came to a head in 1999 at the Technology Expo. Sony had created two competing products, one from each one of those divisions, that would be the replacement for the Walkman. The first one was the Sony Memory Stick Walkman. That was like a big pack of chewing gum, and you could put a little disc in it and you could get as much music as you wanted. The other one was the Veo music chip. This was like a big fat pen, but it could carry tons of music. And so at the expo, to everyone's surprise, they introduced both of these products. People were confused, but both of them looked pretty good. But the problem was there was another company that had a different approach. Instead of silos or business units that were competing, the company was Apple, and Steve Jobs was trying to create one product that did many things, and that was the Apple iPod.
iPod, 1,000 songs in your pocket.
It took over the market. No one ever hears about Sony Walkmans anymore. How was Steve Jobs so successful against this giant that had... It's because Steve Jobs had a different approach to his organization and collaboration. Instead of competing organizations, he wanted them collaborating. Instead of building walls and organization structures, he wanted to tear them down. He created what he called concurrent engineering. And that was, you think of engineering as going from engineering to design to manufacturing to marketing to packaging to distribution. And instead what he wanted to do was push all of those together, reduce the number of touch points and pass off points, and make all of them work together so that the product at the end reflected the best thinking of everyone together, not sequentially. It sped up the process in many ways. It also slowed it down in some ways. But the idea was that at the end you had a product that everyone had had a piece of. And he had created collaboration by breaking down the barriers. So what can we learn from the Apple iPod versus the Sony? I can't even remember what the names of the products are anymore. The first one is to push the linear sequence of development through distribution and to your consumer into as few steps as possible. Not as many units as for specialization, but instead try to break those down into larger but fewer pieces. The second piece is to make them collaborate at each step of the process. One way to do that some organizations come up with is that at each movement from, say, engineering to design to marketing, it has to be signed off by everyone. And that means everyone has had an agreement that that's the best we can do at this stage, and now it's ready for my stage. So look at your organization. Can you reduce the number of steps, and how can you get people to work together and break down those silos? And don't make organizational units compete with each other.